Thanks for joining us on our third and final part of our cross-country Simpson Desert Traverse. In the last episode we stopped at the geological center. After the Geocentre we picked up a pretty good trek and followed it south for a while. On one of our frequent stops I came across this interesting structure. Certainly a very interesting end mount. Never seen such a mount. After I did a bit more research at home, I found out that this mount belongs to the Mulga end. We finally found the historic wooden survey marker lying on the ground. We uprighted it again and hopefully someone else will come across it at some stage. So it's the 25th. We just split up with Dan. East, we're...
So this is shit country. Another minefield.
So, yeah, we split up with Dan, southeast of the geological center, where we decided to go form our own tracks. However, we were anticipating to hit another trek after some time, but we drove the whole day today. The going is very rough, and we haven't really, we only done 15 kilometers really, not much at all. So yeah, we decided to go on a bit further at a bit faster
pace.
This
looks like pretty tall dune up ahead. Let's see what it looks like at the top here and have another quick discussion, I guess.
Copy that. So yeah, now we have the decision whether we backtrack 15 k's, which we did today, because that was a well-defined trek. Then we end up at the French, or we continue on making our own tracks here. However, to the first section where Dan is pretty sure there is a normal trek, would be at least double what we did today, and the going is pretty damn slow. So yeah, we currently contemplating what we're doing fuel wise. I'm on half a tank, probably have 40 liters in my sub tank, and then another 80 in the main tank. Yeah, and 10 liters of Jerry's. I think Scotty hasn't touched his sub yet and has 40 liters of fuel, so that should be alright. But yeah, it's just very slow going. Just before we were planning to camp, I came across the single dromedary and thought I sent the drone up and have a look at it.
Something just broke on my car.
You're kidding, mate, what?
I know, give us a sec.
This is the last thing you want to hear in such a remote location.
Oh, all good. Just the rear sway bar.
Copy that. Yeah, they are. It is a minefield here. If you look outside, it really looks craters left, front, center.
I'm glad it's only the sway bar length. I couldn't give a rap.
Scotty, you delivered some news which you don't want to hear out here.
Oh, it's all good. It's only a sway bar length, a sway bar. So could have been worse. I was just coming over a bit of a double dune. It sort of flattened out, and it was just like entering a minefield. There was flex everywhere and no clear path ahead. So it was just soak it up basically as slow as possible, and just as I got over one section I heard a loud clunk in the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much knew something had gone and was hoping it was a sway bar. Luckily it is, because
yes.
I can certainly do without it. It's
sway bar, no issue.
Yeah.
Shock or something, spring would have been a different story out here, because I mean that is as remote. That's the first time, to be honest, I really feel isolated here.
Yeah, we're out in the middle of
nowhere. we haven't seen tracks, or if very old ones, for a couple of meters, then they disappear. And I mean, some of the terrain, I don't know, there are holes like this. It's really like someone dropped mines everywhere.
Yeah. So I knew at that time there was the driveline wasn't under any load at all. I was just merely rolling over a pretty weird obstacle, and that's when it let go. So
flexed it out.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd look at what we've done so far. The sway bar's taken an absolute beating really.
I mean, this whole leg for the suspension and so on, or for the car, it is punishing. I don't think you...
Mate, I've driven a lot of Australia, and to me, the Simpson Desert is definitely the worst, the hardest on your suspension than anywhere else I've driven in Australia. It's hundreds of kilometres of just non-stop punishment. So,
and there's no track. You make your track, you can't get it 100% of the time right. It's just impossible. So you end up in with holes, and so
pays to drive cautiously.
Yes.
Know your vehicle, and certainly don't go bashing into things with momentum unnecessarily, because that's when you're gonna definitely break things.
Yeah, like always, really slow and steady, wins the race. Anyway, let's set up camp, get some tucker in, and tomorrow hopefully some stage we hit an actual track. We can follow more than 2 meters.
We might be able to exceed 10 kilometers an hour at some
point.
So
yes.
That'll be nice.
That would be nice. We had a flock of budgies sitting close to our camp in one of the trees. The budgie is one of the smallest parrots we have in Australia. Saturday the 26th, after some rough driving this morning and yesterday without a track through bomb craters and minefields, very rough. Scotty snapped his sway bar. Now we have managed to find a shot line which is a bit better defined. We also managed to get in contact with Dan via UHF, and he's all right. I gave him the go-ahead what happened on our end, and hopefully we end up at Oil Well 1 now, and then down to the French. Mind you, things can change very quick in the desert. We just lost our track, and it happened a few times. You have a well-defined track which really must have been driven in the not too distant past, a couple of months ago or whatever, and all of a sudden track is gone, disappears into the nothing. Certainly some are coming in here and out.
See, almost looks like cat footprints. There's lizards and some sort of marsupial as well. There's beetles. That's a lizard. And there. That's a crow. This one hinge. So this is a crow, where you can see these marks are his tail feathers. And that's definitely a crow or raven footprint. Let's cruise through here.
There was an old boar here, water resource boar identification. Don't think we find any water there now though. After 9 days in the desert, without seeing a single vehicle or person, nor hearing anyone on the UHF, we finally reached Mirapunga Ponguna Lake, which indicated to us we are nearly back in civilization. Great care should be taken when driving over salt or clay pans, as the hard crust can be deceptive and often it can be very soft underneath the crust. So if you break through, a recovery can be quite difficult. During the whole trip I kept my eyes peeled to see some desert snakes without any luck. So I was quite elated seeing these inland taipan crossing the track in front of me. So I stopped the car, jumped out, started filming. The inland taipan, or also called fear snake, is actually the most venomous snake in the world. The bugger then looked for some shade right under my driver's door, which was open. I was glad to have a 3.5-inch lift because certainly too high up for that little bugger to crawl in my car. It's not a very common species, so I really was very happy to have seen that snake. We're having a little argument. Scotty? A discussion, yeah. Scotty is very smelly. He wants a shower. I'm clean as a whistle.
The flies are a testament to that, clearly.
Shit. Anyway, he wants to go to Birdsville. I wouldn't mind to go to Birdsville as well, but we have another, in my opinion, 2 hours, in Scotty's opinion, 1 hour.
1.5.
1.5.
Which it's only, what, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I reckon 2.5. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we both tabled our arguments. You know, we both hear them, but we can't really come to a conclusion. So we do the fair, manly thing. We're going to toss a coin.
What do you want, heads or tails?
I take heads.
Heads?
So heads is bush camp.
Tails is Birdsville.
Tail, what is head? That is head.
That's heads. Oh, sorry, that's heads.
That's head, yeah.
That's tails.
Okay.
Tails it is. Birdsville.
That's alright. We both had done Big Red on numerous occasions. However, we thought we'd give it another go. Scotty tried the very hard left-hand lane. I went through the middle. I needed a second attempt airing down to 12 psi, but then cruised up easy. Scotty had a few tries getting up the left-hand side and eventually made it. There he is! That was certainly the hardest line on the day, that's for sure. Big Red teased Scotty quite a few times, letting him come up within 15 centimeters really of driving out. But he managed to wriggle forward and backwards and drove out. Thanks for following us on this epic Simpson Desert adventure. If you haven't watched part 1 or 2, they are available on the YouTube channel. If you enjoyed the videos, it would be greatly appreciated if you could share, like and subscribe. And maybe leave us a note in the comments what was your most memorable Simpson Desert trip.